What up, guys and gals? Doing another Adonis review today, and I'm going to do No Man's Sky. This is actually one I'm kind of excited to do. I feel like it's a perfect one to do with the fact that it's been around for a while. I feel like there's a lot of mixed ideas about No Man's Sky, especially on my part as well. So I thought it'd be great to bring it up now in 2023, years later, after all the updates and everything, give everyone a fresh perspective on it, especially with the fact that it's a PSVR 2 game as well. And probably one of the most compacted PSVR 2 experiences you can play right now, due to the fact that there's not too many games out right now for the VR2. So getting one, especially getting one that has a lot of meat to it, is tough to find so early on in the VR2 world. So let's get into it. No Man's Sky VR 2023. So first thing that I'll go over is my general consensus on No Man's Sky. So I believe No Man's Sky came out in 2016, and just in case you had no idea what the fuck is going on with this game, and you were born yesterday, and just saw it was a PSVR 2 game, and you're like, what's this? Is it good? Like, I'm gonna buy it. Maybe I should watch a review, see if it's good nowadays. So the general story that I know, and I'm not like a super expert on it, but the basis I feel like most people will know about it if they are into games at all, is that No Man's Sky years and years ago, before it came out and when they first announced themselves, sold this amazing dream to everybody that there would be this incredible game with billions of fucking planets, true real life size planets that would take fucking days on days to walk across, and then you could get in your spaceship and fly to a different planet, and it'll be completely different, and it'll be a completely giant size, and get millions of them, and all actual size, and you're basically you're in this real universe with real millions of fucking planets that you could explore, and essentially they would have different environments and different creatures and inhabitants and fucking weather, and it'd be like a real universe basically that you could explore, like a real fucking universe, like that, as simple as that, right? And apparently when it first came out, everyone basically called it the biggest fucking scam on earth, because I guess the show was there that of what it had, and but it was basically, from what I gathered, the most boring fucking game on earth. Like, there wasn't really that much, wasn't really anything to do. The fucking things you could do were very slow and mundane. They didn't have a lot of life form, because it was too much to ask for. There wasn't a lot of variety. Basically, it was kind of like the grandest case of Cyberpunk 99, where it's like they couldn't really put a lot of things into it and generate it, because like it would crash and whatnot. So people were pretty upset. But unlike most games that this happens to and they immediately pull out and just give up, they have, year by year been living up to the best of their ability to give the game that they promised. They've added, missions, campaigns, multiplayer, playing with friends, guns, activity, fucking space battles. They've literally put in everything that you do. They've added different creatures and plants and all this shit. So it very, many people can really debate that fucking it isn't the game that was promised nowadays. It's truly, looking into it, pretty much a marvel, to say the least. They've really kind of stuck to their guns. They have added everything they need to do, and it's impressive, to say the least. It's the biggest impressiveness because I, 100% never thought I would be a person that plays games, because even with all the promises and lofty things that they promised, never truly believed it. You might be that type of person too. Like, yeah, sure, billions of fucking planets, sure, the size. Like, how would a game ever fucking handle that? Like, that's impossible. Like, let alone, one game having a Witcher 3 size map or fucking Skyrim size map, is one thing, but how the fuck could a game not one just just a game like Skyrim doesn't only have that's not even a full world planet size of a fucking thing, that's like a fucking a city maybe real size or fucking maybe a continent, who knows? But fucking you're saying that, basically you're gonna have a million planets and all that, and just one of those planets is gonna be like, 50 fucking Skyrims in size? Like, impossible. I've looked into it, I've done the research for you, and it's basically, from everything I can see, true. Basically the way it works, to simplify it, this is a game if you don't go too far into it, but it's like everything's pre-generated, so instead of a person who built fucking The Witcher having to fucking create a place, and that place looks exactly like this, and so when a person gets to it in the mission, they see exactly this, and there can be a cutscene doing this, and everything happens exactly as they planned. Instead, with this, everything just generates randomly based on an algorithm. So you walk up to a place and it could look like fucking anything. As long it's just gonna create some type of plant, some type of animal, some type of fucking environment, just completely random. So no control over how it's gonna look or anything on it, and it only creates what you're on at that time. So fucking, once you leave it fucking goes away, right? It's not taking up space, and then once you fucking arrive on a new place, it's just creating that place. So at any given time, you're basically only seeing where you're at. But you can go back to these places because they save and create areas, but you don't actually take the space from that area until you go to it, is basically what I'm led to believe. If I'm completely fucking wrong, don't yell at me. I'm not a genius. It's how I understand it in my brain. So basically, it's pretty true. So, the first thing to really take mindset in this game is the grasp and what it really has. Because again, even with all this pretty impressive thought of what they gave compared to what they were offering, doesn't necessarily mean it's a game that will entertain you, right? And this is a hard sell, right? If you're a person who loves constant actions and multiplayer and high octane stuff and fucking playing, action movie games or fucking, very linear things, it might not be for you. And that's kind of what I thought, right? I've never been a person who I've never played Minecraft. I have no plan to ever play Minecraft. Obviously it's beloved, so there's some fucking thrill in it. I would imagine this is something like Minecraft. But to me, Minecraft sounds boring as fuck. Like, I just imagine you just walk around building shits in a terrible fucking blocky world. And maybe you can see other people's blocky world, and I guess that's the hype. That sounds boring to me. So that same thing is how I envisioned fucking No Man's Sky. And maybe it is that case, right? Maybe it isn't the most exciting game in the world, but it really does have enough to get me entertained, and this isn't a game I would ever normally play. So to kind of go into it, what you should expect, they do have a story mode in it of sorts, which is basically just like a linear, not a linear path, but a path that they kind of give you, which it seems just kind of tropes over the general aspects of the game, the things you could do, but kind of putting a story behind it. So instead of you just doing it randomly because fucking, that's the point, you kind of have a reason to do it. You're trying to like save, these travelers, and you have to do these things to save it. So it kind of sets you on this path. It forces you on the path, so you kind of have something to do. And then as you kind of do that, you kind of explore. And then essentially the main draw of the game, which gets you playing for hours, is then like landing on planets, and and you can scan the planet, and you can find fucking chests and shit buried, and you can fucking go fucking loot that chest and get nice stuff, and then upgrade your guns and buy better guns and upgrade your base, your spaceship, and get better guns for your spaceship, and fucking upgrade your spaceship, and so on and so forth, with everything. So, is this game for you? I'll try to go into real quickly. Again, I wouldn't think it's for me. Is it for you? I'm not sure. It's really hard to say, right? I think for VR, it's the best game. It's a terrific buy, honestly. I feel like this game will give you hundreds of hours of shit to do in VR if you can handle it right without getting sick. It will. It's a great deal for the price. It's amazing being able to fly to, basically have a whole galaxy at your hand in virtual reality. They do, like I said, they do have gunplay and fighting in it, so it's not just you going around fucking harvesting minerals. You get a gun, you get different like attachments for the gun, so you can make it like a shotgun, and you could have like one gun doing all these different things, and you just switch between these different type of skills, and you get multiple guns at once. And these guns can, have a machine gun or a shotgun or a laser beam or like a blaze javelin, which is like a fire sniper, shit like that. And you can go invisible. They have, like I said, space battles. You can, get different spaceships and fucking upgrade them with different types of, weapons on that. Rocket launchers and laser beams on your spaceship, and make it different in different ways. You also have the ability to create buildings, to your specifications with different floor plans and everything, so you can create your own base. You can create, there's like exo machines, so you can walk around in a giant mech or in a fucking car or fucking create a water base. Like, the best way I can explain this game is before, when it first came out, it was like a shell of the game they promised. This game now is like the shell of the best game on fucking Earth, is the best way to explain it. This game, honestly, if they could craft it, could be the future of all gaming. And the reason I say this is because essentially, you get a spaceship, you get guns, and you travel planet to planet, exploring and fucking killing the wildlife, and you can do it with friends, and fucking you can do missions and complete challenges and shit like that, and fly to different planets and do all this stuff. But imagine if they did this and it had the full backing of everything in the world. Right now, the graphics are fine for what they offer. I mean, like I said, it's a galaxy you're traveling in, so it having Cyberpunk 2077 graphics is probably not going to happen. But fucking, if they could put that amount of graphics in it, and then give you the power to, create a base like you can already do, right? You can create a mansion, fucking the best mansion you could ever think of in this game right now. But if you could do that with, an unlimited amount of real life things, so you could truly create a mansion exactly how you would want to in real life. And then if you could, of course, buy stuff for the mansion in the game, but it's like basic stuff like chairs and desks and stuff just to make it look like it's not fucking empty. But if you could if you could buy like a ping pong table and put it in your mansion and actually play ping pong in it with your friend in the game, which is a thing you could do in VR, but it's a thing separate. But how hard would it be for them to make a ping pong table in the game that you can put in the house you make, and make a paddle as something you could hold instead of a fucking thing, and create some type of ping pong game in it. They could easily do it. And that goes with everything. Kind of like Ready Player One, where they live in this kind of universe and we're kind of a dome to all these different games. That's kind of how I could see No Man's Sky. Now, it probably won't be that, obviously. It's fucking unlikely. But I see the fucking ultimate game of the future basically being a shell of fucking like a No Man's Sky, where fucking you can travel to planets and fucking different things, and one person, one friend of yours could be on a planet fucking 30 minutes away to fly there, or you fly there in a minute if you have a hyperdrive. And on your planet, you have a giant mansion, built exactly how you want, and a beautiful beach, and fucking you have ping pong tables, and they could teleport over to your place if you want and play ping pong virtually. And then there's obviously like a hub planet where all your friends can meet up and hang out, where fucking you could, all look at different games and then teleport yourself to a virtual reality, Gran Turismo 7, and all play together, and so forth and so on. Now, obviously, that doesn't exist, so don't imagine that all for this. I'm just saying it's like a shell of that. And you kind of see that when you play it. It obviously isn't all to that aspect, but, you do have gunplay, you do have space fights, you do have a story mode, you do have traveling planet to planet and fucking exploring the planet and fucking getting minerals and stuff. I may be making it sound funner than it is, so like I said, it does get boring. That's one thing I kind of see is someone getting, if you're easily bored, with most single players, unless it's like a fucking really great one, this isn't for you. You'll get bored because sometimes I'll get lost doing something, and I kind of like realize that deep down in the core, I'm just kind of doing the same monotonous shit where I'm just like kind of always driven by hoping that I fucking mine something or fucking loot something that will give me something better, and then I want to go find more loot so I can get something better. I get kind of tricked by doing that, and kind of realizing that if I wasn't so occupied with doing that, there wouldn't be that much more to do, because basically all you're doing is flying planet to planet, looting shit on Earth, on that planet, or building yourself a fucking base so you can. But why would But it's like, really, why build that base when there's a million more planets to explore? So down to the nitty gritty, if you get easily bored, you'll probably get easily bored from this. It might not be for you, but if you have a VR and you're looking for games and you want something meaty, I think this might be something you might want to look into. Typically you could find it on sale for $25-$30. It's a pretty standard price for it. And I think that's mighty fair. I think you get a lot of deal and playback for that. So I think it's worth investigating, and if you can. So don't yell at me if you get it and you're bored. Like I said, it's not the greatest game on earth. It's the shell of the greatest game on earth. But for VR, especially with PSVR 2, where you don't have much more, it's definitely a great amount of content for what you get. It looks good. The way they attack everything is good. Like I said, it just gets boring because fucking everything is so much. Everything's kind of a shell of a game that could be better. The shooting could be better. The space fights could be better. But for what you're given and the span of it, it's pretty impressive overall. I think you would see that if you fucking give it a try. So if you do give it a try, like I said, it's a game I never thought I would ever play until fucking I wanted a game for PSVR 2, and I knew this was a fucking, a game that people talked about, and fucking I was like, well, shit, I'll spend $30, either spend $30 on this or spend $30 on fucking, I don't know, Zenith or something, some random game that fucking I never heard about. So I gave it a try, and it's honestly pretty cool. And like I said, one day, hopefully, someone hears this and fucking takes it in consideration, and we might have the best game on earth, true Ready Player One in existence. But if you do end up getting it because of this, and you give it a try and you like it, and you would have never tried it beforehand without hearing this, leave a comment, let me know. I'd like to hear your experience. Later, guys.